Hello and welcome to Ottawa, Ontario, Canada's capital city. Today we're taking an in-depth look at Via Rail's brand new Siemens Venture Trainsets while en route to Montreal. Via Rail's Ottawa station, or Gare d'Ottawa, is the Canadian rail provider's third busiest station. Located on the western edge of the city, just beyond the Rideau River, the station serves over 1.3 million passengers per year. Despite its passenger numbers, the station is rather small. A central ticketing office is the main feature of the building, with seating in the surrounding space. The food and drink selections are quite limited, with a small coffee shop the only real storefront among a suite of vending machines. Waiting out amongst the platforms is what we're really here for, one of Via Rail's brand new Siemens Venture Trainsets. These trains are Via's first new trains in over 2 decades, and are the first venture sets to feature a cab car instead of a second locomotive. We'll have plenty of time to enjoy Canada's newest trains here in a bit, but we've got some time to kill before now and our departure. The business class lounge is the perfect place to spend our time. The lounge is quite large, with almost as much seating as there is in the rest of the station. It's also very new, the lounge renovated in 2022. The lounge is super quiet and comfortable and is easily one of the nicest I visited while in Canada. Complimentary for business class passengers are a selection of hot and cold drinks, although no food is provided here in the lounge. It's a little disappointing that Via Rail doesn't give even small snacks to business class passengers, but we do get a full meal on board, so it more than evens out. While we're waiting, let's take a moment to check out our route up to Montreal. Our ride on Via's newest trains begins heading east out of Ottawa, crossing over and paralleling Route 417 through Castleman. Canadian farmland surrounds the tracks through Moose Creek and Alexandria, our Siemens set peaking at 90 miles an hour along the way. We leave Ontario for Quebec, flying through the greenery until a northeasterly turn in Coteau. Highway 20 guides us across Ile Perrot and on to the island of Montreal, arriving downtown at Montreal Central Station. We'll cover a total of 114 miles on our adventure today, with a travel time of 2 hours and 2 minutes. Boarding for train 38 began about 20 minutes ahead of departure. Getting our tickets scanned, we can head through the tunnels to meet Canada's fleet of the future. It was love at first sight, and it seemed the crew loved the new trains too, with chants and cheers coming our way as we headed down the train.
Hey, there you go, hey! You're all the best!
Venture coaches always look great, regardless of the operator, and the Via Rail sets are no exception. I know that the livery has been a point of contention for some, but I honestly love it. Sure, it's fairly basic, but that little yellow stripe just below the windows adds just enough contrast to tie everything together. Plus, the massive maple leaf and bands of dark and light gray on the locomotive and cab car really look amazing. Before we hop on board, there's one more thing we have to look at: our locomotive. The powerhouse behind Via Rail's train sets is a Siemens SCV42, or Siemens Charger Via 4200 horsepower locomotive. Now, I haven't been able to confirm that Siemens Charger Via is the correct meaning for SCV, but it falls in line with the SC44 and ALC42 name schemes. The SCV42 is the 4th Charger Series locomotive to enter operation, following in the footsteps of the original SC44, the Brightline SCB40, and the ALC42. Powered by a Cummins QSK95 16-cylinder engine, each locomotive produces a total of 4,200 horsepower. With a top speed of 125 miles per hour or 201 kilometers an hour, these new trains will be able to power Via Rail well into the realm of higher speed rail. That is, if track infrastructure is upgraded to the necessary standards. Our specific locomotive 2203 is the 4th of 32 on order and is paired with trainset number 3, cars 2302 to 2902. These locomotives are beautiful. The front end is incredibly stylish, with 2 distinct fangs that jut out from the main cab structure, their curved ends ushering air out along the sides of the locomotive. Down below is an improved front plow that extends the full width of the locomotive to help cope with the intense Canadian winters. Another VIA-specific addition is the third main headlight below the front windscreen to help with visibility in inclement weather. The locomotive bears the VIA logo front and center with a massive VIA along the side, plus a maple leaf for good measure. Easily one of the most welcome additions to VIA's trains are LED displays on the doors of each coach. Each display shows train number, car number, the coming stations, and wheelchair access points. Stepping up the new and improved steps, we enter VIA Rail's brand new Siemens Venture trains. Because of how few people are on today's train, the crew advises us that we can take any seat available so long as it's in coach 1. Finding an empty row at the rear of the coach, we can get seated for our 2-hour and 2-minute ride up to Montreal. We hadn't even pulled out of Ottawa before our wonderful train attendants come through for the first drink service. VIA Rail offers complimentary alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages to all business class passengers. The alcoholic selection isn't just beer and wine, they have mixed drinks too. I decided to go with a gin and tonic to celebrate the occasion. Our drink is served in a proper glass with a small snack packet. Drink in hand, our SCV-42 powers up, pulling our train set out of Ottawa to begin our 114-mile ride to Montreal. VIA's business class coaches are operated in a 2+1 layout. Each row offers just under a foot of legroom between one's knees and the seat in front, plus there's plenty of space to stretch out beneath the next row. Business class seats include a footrest which folds down from the seat back. The bar on these new trains doesn't have any preset resting positions like most footrests, instead relying on friction to hold itself up. The seatback pocket is reasonably large and holds the safety information card for our business class coach. The tray table is massive and folds down from the seatback. It features a wood grain veneer and a cup indent. Above each row are lights activated by the sleek machined aluminum buttons to each side. The armrests beside each seat are very comfortable with a thick layer of padding on top. Beneath the armrests in the center, passengers will find a secondary table space. These tables provide extra separation between passengers and include a padded vertical barrier between each row, adding some extra privacy. At-seat power is provided through not 2, but 4 outlets and 4 USB ports. There's one set on the row in front and one beneath the armrest in between the seats. Above both sides of the train are shelves for personal belongings. For larger bags, luggage racks are found in each coach, which we'll take a look at here in a bit. The physical seats on VIA's Venture coaches are very comfortable. Though they're not as striking as those on Brightline's train sets, they're still very nice. The bottom of each seat includes a very thick cushion, while the backrest curves to give excellent lumbar support. In a new addition to any Venture coach, VIA Rail has opted for adjustable head cushions with a little VIA embroidery on the bottom. The wings on the headrests follow suit with the rest of the seat and its excellent padding, giving passengers a comfortable place to rest their heads. Seat adjustments are made using the handle found beneath each seat. Pulling up slides the bottom and seat back forward around 4 to 5 inches, adding even more comfort to an already incredible seat. If you're a solo traveler, then this single side of the train is for you. The seat itself is identical to the double row, but you still get the same table and 4 outlets as found on the other side. It's really incredible how nice these interiors are. The first things passengers will notice is just how much more light there is throughout each coach. The larger windows and higher luggage racks allow more natural light in, which pairs wonderfully with the bright LED strips along the ceiling. Passenger information is presented through multiple screens found above the aisle. Each displays the time, train number, car number, current relative position between stops, and most importantly, current speed. The wood grain veneer extends to the walls in each business coach, adding an element of class. Plus, there's the sweet business class logo on either end of the car. The new coaches finally include proper waste receptacles, with both trash cans and recycling bins found near the bathroom. At the front of our coach is where passengers will find the larger luggage racks. There are 2 full-size racks per car, though the one on the left also functions as a bike rack. The rack folds up and out of the way, allowing passengers to hang their bike in the space. Or at least this is where passengers would store their bikes had the hangers actually been installed in this particular coach. What passengers won't notice on these new trains is noise, and that's because they're extremely quiet. Here, take a listen. For contrast, here's one of Via's LRCs. And back to the Ventures. Moving towards the rear of our coach, we find yet another new feature of any Venture coach, a meeting space or privacy pod as Via calls it. The privacy pod features walls between the second row and the rest of the car, plus they wrap around the aisle side a bit to help prevent sound from exiting the pod and disturbing other passengers. The walls themselves don't go all the way to the ceiling, but they're tall enough to provide more than enough separation for business class passengers who really want to get some business done. The table in the center expands by sliding out the intersection, which pops up into place. With the table extended, there's around a foot between the table edge and one's torso, which is more than enough to stay comfortable while working. Storing the table is super easy, as all it takes is a light press on top and a push forward to store it back in the center section. If you're sitting in the pod, then power is going to be a must-have. Well, lucky for you, there's the same great outlets on either row, with one socket and one USB port per passenger. The bathroom for our business class coach is located at the rear of the car. Pressing the illuminated button slides the door open and we can step inside. The door slides back shut after pressing the interior close button and locks with the one above. This bathroom is awesome. For starters, it's huge. There's plenty of space for passengers with disabilities to move around easily, which is wonderful. We'll head counterclockwise as we look at this great facility. Starting out, there's the great button controls. I appreciate that the interim solution while passengers learn how to operate these new bathrooms is an instruction slip taped just above the interior controls. To the left of the door, you'll find 2 coat hooks at varying levels for accessibility. Moving further left, passengers will find both a help and assistance button, below which are a feminine products disposal and for the first time, a sharps disposal. The toilet itself is fantastic, with a large flush button and folding arms on either side for persons with disabilities. The changing table is very large and clean, below which is the trash can and toilet paper rack. The vanity is easily the star of the show. Built into the mirror are 2 massive LED strips, a common theme on Venture coaches. The sink works very well, although the soap dispenser is empty, hence the provided soap bottle in the corner. There are plenty of paper towels and a box for where tissues should go. Left of the sink are 2 120-volt outlets, though the sticker to the side indicates that they're in fact non-functional. This all leaves us with one final feature of these bathrooms, the screen. That's right, each bathroom has an information screen, much like those found around the rest of the coach. As if on command, the arrival announcement for Castleman plays, showing exactly how helpful such an addition can be.
For your safety, we ask that you remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop. Please be sure to retrieve all personal belongings before leaving the train.
These bathrooms are fantastic and are easily a 10 out of 10. They're a huge step forward over Via's current rolling stock and are truly an example of the standard of quality people should expect from inner-city rail. If you're enjoying the review of Via's newest trains, why not hit that subscribe button? It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. I also want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members. Y'all are amazing and I cannot thank you enough for your incredible support. If you too want your name in the video or just want to support the channel in more ways than one, then head on over to the links in the description below. Accessibility is one of the key features that Via Rail wanted to improve with these new train sets. Boarding for passengers with disability has been improved significantly, with 3 sets of wheelchair lifts per train. The 2 seen here are the ones for business class, with 4 more found in economy. There are now 5 mobility aid spaces per train set, and those spaces are great. The standout feature are the easily adjustable tables, which slide up and down effortlessly using the lever on the wall. There's also touch capacitive light controls, an attendant call button, 2 USB ports and outlets for charging, and a cushioned seat. Of course, one of the biggest changes are the accessible washrooms found throughout the train, which we just had a look at. For the visually impaired, there are clear audio announcements at each stop, noting not only the train's imminent arrival, but also stating when the train has come to a stop at a station. And these announcements are visual too for passengers with auditory impairments. Braille signage has been added next to the seat numbers along the aisle and the attendant call and help buttons. Last but certainly not least are the wider aisles to help improve mobility around each coach. It's honestly fantastic to see such an inclusive train set, and I'm sure the accessibility improvements will make travel significantly easier for passengers with disabilities. Rear of the bathroom is where we'll find the galley, which includes a whole suite of new appliances and food storage spaces. There's also a couple fold-down seats for the car attendants. And speaking of food, it's dinner time. Via Rail offers complimentary meals to all business class passengers. For dinner this evening, I chose the pumpkin penne pasta. The pasta came paired with a bread roll, a selection of cheese and grapes, and a caramel chocolate mousse with berries for dessert. There's also the option to have wine with one's meal, though I chose a glass of water on this occasion. For a complimentary meal, I was pleasantly surprised by its quality. The pasta was super flavorful, with rich pumpkin paired nicely with a light ricotta on top. The bread roll was fairly standard, but the cheese was delicious, though it would have been nice to have more than 2 grapes to go with. The dessert, as desserts tend to be, was easily the best part of the meal. The berries were super fresh and crisp, and that chocolate mousse was incredibly rich, and it contrasted wonderfully with the salty sweet caramel on top. Overall, a solid 7 out of 10 meal from Via Rail. While we sit and enjoy our meal, we can take a look at Via's onboard Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is easy to connect to, requiring only a couple of clicks to get online. The speeds aren't great, with only an average of 1.68 megabits per second download, but it's enough to do some light web browsing or connect to online services for working passengers. Dinner now wrapped up, we can leave our coach to see what else Via's new trains have to offer. Entering the vestibule, we find another set of luggage racks, beyond which is a second business class coach. For the time being, this coach is pretty much just a crew space, as Via's booking system has yet to be updated to allow more business class passengers on these trains. The other 3 coaches beyond this one are economy class, though Via has said that they are planning on adjusting consist based on demand. The second business class coach is identical to the first, though there are 2 smaller bathrooms instead of 1 larger one. these bathrooms feel more like an airline facility as everything is quite compact. The sink still works well, although there's no soap in the dispenser. There are plenty of paper towels and toilet paper, despite no passengers actually being seated in this coach. The toilet itself is very clean, with plenty of grab handles to help move about. Passengers will find the same great lighting in here as in the accessible bathroom, with yet another information screen and non-functional outlets. Something that I found interesting that I think most passengers will look past are the designs on the bathroom walls. The pattern in here features rectangular shapes representing a city skyline, while the pattern in the accessible bathroom is that of a forest and mountains. It's not a big thing, but it's certainly a nice touch that most passengers will overlook. Stepping through the rear galley and automatic doors, we enter coach class. Despite being coach class, the car itself feels almost as nice as business class. This is partly due to the fact that the physical seats themselves are identical to those found in business class. Each seat is 19 inches wide, though there's only around 7 inches between my knees and the next row. There's plenty of space beneath the next seat to stretch out or store one's personal belongings. The seat back pocket is identical to those in business, though the safety information card is slightly changed to reflect the economy class layout. The seat back pocket is also where we'll find the coach class menu. Via Rail offers a cart service to economy class passengers with plenty of snacks and drinks for purchase. Each seat features the massive tray table found in business with 2 LED lights above each row. Seat adjustments are made using the handle beneath each seat. Unlike business, economy class is operated in a 2+2 arrangement, which means little separation between passengers and no central table beneath the armrests. Each side of the train gets access to luggage racks, with passenger information provided through screens above the aisle. Table seating is also an option here in coach, though this area has been reserved for groups of 2 or more on today's journey. The bike racks and bathrooms are the same, though the door on this particular facility had a mind of its own. Every time I press the open button, it'd get about halfway, then slide back shut. It didn't seem to matter how many times I tried to open it, it just shut itself anyways. No idea what was going on. Accessibility continues here in Economy 2, with a mobility aid space at the rear of the coach. The galley is a little different from business class. There are fewer food storage spaces, and a large portion of cabinets have been cut out in favor of waste bins and a fold-down seat. What is there, though, is incredibly nice, with VIA branding on practically every vertical surface. And speaking of VIA branding on vertical surfaces, the vestibule doors feature a super sweet stylized VIA logo, which I would just love on a shirt. VIA, if you're watching, you know what to do. The final car on our train is the cab car. For the first time in many decades, VIA will finally not have to turn trains at terminus stations, which will help immensely with rail operations and overall journey times. The car itself is fairly similar to a regular coach car. Entering via the vestibule, we find a condensed galley space with food storage, waste bins, and a proper water bottle refilling station with filtered water. Despite their young age, something somewhere is not operating properly in this kitchen, as a fuse has been tripped by one of the many appliances. In the center of the coach is a secondary luggage rack, but it's what's at the end that we're really here for. The end door may appear to be entirely glossed over, however if you look close enough you can see right through it for one of the coolest cab views I've ever seen. From here, we get a clear view of the engineer's controls, the 2 front seats, the 3rd jump seat, and of course the tracks behind us. It's a view I didn't think existed, but lo and behold, here we are, enjoying the cab of Via Rail's newest trains. I didn't stick around too long as our train was beginning its last leg into Montreal. Returning to our seat, our lovely car attendant had left 2 dark chocolate desserts for us, 1 regular and 1 raspberry. They're not huge, but it's enough to close off the ride on a sweet note. Our engineer brings our SCV-42 down from 90 miles an hour, slowing for the final turns into Montreal Central Station. We head past EXO's maintenance facility and under the tracks of the REM, or Réseau Express Métropolitain. The REM is North America's and really the world's newest metro line and opened literally last week. The REM currently serves 5 stations between Montreal Central and the suburb of Brossard. When all extensions are completed, it will serve a total of 26 stations with 3 branch lines and cover an impressive 42 miles of track. Crossing the Canadian National Wellington Bridge, we enter Montreal proper, pulling into Montreal Central Station a few minutes later. All in all, these trains are fantastic. Via's fleet of the future really is of the future. These train sets are incredibly comfortable, accessible, and efficient, and will certainly help push Via Rail to the forefront of travel in North America. With one final look at the gorgeous interiors, we can step off Via Rail's Venture coaches, where we'll bring today's video to a close. Next week, we'll be out in Seattle, for real this time, to ride with Amtrak Cascades in business class on board one of their Talgo 8 train sets. If you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. If you want to go the extra mile with your support, then check out the channel's Patreon or become a channel member. If you want your name in the video, access to exclusive weekly posts, and even the opportunity to vote on future videos, then click the links in the top right or the description below to learn more. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.